My name is Shawna Russell, and my major is middle childhood education. So I did my practicum with an organization called Downtown Bowling Green, and I did it from 8:30 to 10:30 every Tuesday and Thursday from September 29th to November 8th. And my supervisor was Mary Hinkleman. So just a little bit about Downtown Bowling Green. It's a nonprofit organization that's responsible for like the upkeep of downtown, and they also put on different events. Some of those I have listed there, and many more. And since Downtown Bowling Green is nonprofit, they have the Downtown Foundation, which is how they get the money to decorate, to plant things, and to host these events. So what I did, my supervisor asked me to look at the 2015-2016 registration data for their car show called Classics on Main. Mary, this is her second year as the head of Downtown Bowling Green, so she didn't really have any other data from previous years. There was some information from 2003, but that's not really relevant if I'm just looking at 2015-2016. So that's why I only looked at 2 years. And she asked me to specifically look at the zip codes and see what kind of information I could pull out of that. So I looked at two main things with the zip codes: the number of participants per region, and then the distance that participants traveled. As expected, for the number of participants per region, most of them came from Northwest Ohio, but I also wanted to see how many came out of state, came from other regions. So I'm going to focus more on how far participants traveled. So what I did is, for each year, I took the zip codes and I sorted them from smallest to largest, and then I took the time to figure out how far the zip code was from Bowling Green's zip code. So, which is kind of tricky and time-consuming because, you know, when you go in on Google Maps and you put in one zip code and then you put in Bowling Green's, you get like different suggestions depending on what route you take. So I just kind of had to pick one and go with it. That was kind of tricky, but so once I did that, I then found how many people came from that distance, which you can see here. So, and a distance of 0 means that they came from Bowling Green. And then I made categories, so like 0 to 19 miles, 20 to 39 miles, and then I put them into these categories and figured out how many people per category. So this is just like a summary of all the work that I went into it. It was a much longer sheet, but this is just a quick summary. So then, once I had that for each year, I found the min, max, mean, median, and mode. I'm not sure if everyone knows. You can remember, I guess, a median and mode. Mode is the number that appears the most, and then median is the middle number. So you just take all the numbers and put them in order from smallest to largest, and then that's the middle number. And then I used this data later on to get some different numbers. But after I graphed each one separately, I did them together. So this is a double bar graph that shows that data for distance traveled. You can see that 0 to 39 miles, that's where most of the participants are traveling from. And I like the thing about the double bar graph was that you can actually see like physical sizes, so you can compare, oh, this bar is actually smaller than this one, rather than just numbers. Some people, you know, it's easier for them to look at it that way and interpret the data. And then I made a stem and leaf plot. So for a stem and leaf plot, basically the stem is the number in the tens place, and the leaf is the number in the ones place. So if we're looking like here, our stem of 6 and our leaf is 3, your number is 63. And then same thing here, your stem is 4 and your leaf is 8, your number is 48. So then, now if you look at a 2-digit number in the stem, so let's look at 12. 12 and then the leaf of 1, your number is 121. And another thing with this is you can still see physical sizes, but you can also see the numbers that go in to the category. So like here, you can see there are a lot of people that came from 14 miles. You can actually see how many people. So I just thought this was another way to see the data. And again, you can compare both at the sizes 0 to 49 miles. You can clearly see this here. So just by the numbers, with some of the data I found, or with finding like the mean, median, and mode and stuff like that, 83% of the participants in 2015 came from 0 to 39 miles, and then that increased 5% in 2016. So I thought that was interesting that more people are coming from it's closer to Bowling Green. And then 51% of participants in 2016 returned from the previous year, which, I don't know if that's good or bad, but I thought that this information would be really valuable because I know Mary talked about wanting to keep bringing the same people back and keeping those numbers. So, she can interpret that how she wants, but I just thought that that was valuable for her to know the percentage of people that are coming back. There's a 4% decrease in the number of participants in 2016 compared to 2015. And then the average distance traveled in 2016 was 2 miles less. So before I get to the activity, one of my suggestions for Mary was that, try to keep up the number of people from 0 to 39 miles. But, even though, the thing with classic cars is you don't want to drive them very far, but I suggested that she still should reach out to further distances because there's only so many people in Bowling Green and surrounding areas with classic cars that eventually you're just going to reach the max and then you can only go down from there. So even if they can't, they don't get a lot of people, I think it's still valuable for her to reach out and maybe try to get more people from further distances. Okay, so for your activity, you're going to get a piece of paper with a set of numbers, and all you need to do is find the max, the min, mean, median, and mode, and make a stem and leaf plot.
What? Can I keep this?
Yeah.
Here's the list of numbers.
Everything No, we're trying to teamwork. I already made this to be I'm in charge of the meeting. Christian, you're a valuable member of this team.
This is what you should have gotten. These are my numbers. You didn't have to find the total, but I found the total. And then this is what your 7-minute clock should look like. I chose this activity because in the middle grades, graphing, especially like in 6th grade, is really big. And they do learn stem and leaf plots, so I thought that this is really applicable to my content area and what grades I'll be teaching. Okay, so what I got from this experience, I definitely sharpened my Excel skills. I came into the project with Excel skills, but this definitely, I learned some new things. I was quicker by the end of it, so that was really nice. And then communication and teamwork are very important. There are only 2 women in the office, and I remember one day, since I come in at 8:30, the assistant doesn't come in until 9, but when I got there, Mary wasn't there, the doors were locked, called her, she wasn't answering, and then her assistant comes half an hour later and she's like, well, I don't know where she's at, and I don't have a key to the building. So we were stuck outside for a while, and it just was kind of crazy. That even happened on my first day. Her assistant didn't know I was coming, so that's just really important, no matter what career you go into. And then also, it's really easy to bring real-world examples in the classroom. Even if you just make up a set of numbers and then take the time to make your own story, that gives meaning to the numbers, and students will, they'll understand, okay, so this actually can be used. It's not just you giving me numbers and tell me to do these calculations. And then I also got to learn more about local companies, organizations. I'm not from Bowling Green, so it was nice to learn about kind of what goes on, especially with downtown, where a lot of events go on, a lot of activities. So that was just, nice to learn about. Any questions?